Hey, so it's been my intention for a little while to do a bit more of a long form video. So this is my attempt at doing that today. There's lots that I wanted to talk about and go through. And so, I thought that it would be a nice way to do that and a bit of practice for myself in terms of speaking to the camera. And it gives me a chance to get out all the stuff that I've been wanting to share. So that's really cool. So the first one is relating to the football. So for a long time now, for the last about 9 years, I've been coaching a local football team. And for the majority of those years, for maybe about 7 years, my youngest son was playing for the team. And I've really enjoyed that. And that's not something that perhaps everyone would know about. It's not something that I would generally post around on social media or images and things like that at all. But it's something that has been a big part of my life for a long time, many years, up until recently. We would train on a Wednesday evening, even through the winters. We had like these, our own floodlights, right? So we would set the lights up. We would train through in the dark, in the bad weather. We would train on a Saturday morning as well. And then usually the matches obviously on a Sunday, and they would vary at different times. And up until a couple of years ago now, I think my son pretty much stopped wanting to play, and that was fine. And I'd sort of carried on coaching, perhaps with the hope that he might want to come back and play. Was one part of it. I suppose the other part of it is that I generally enjoyed it, and I've built nice relationships with all the parents and all the kids that have been playing. Some of them that have played, they've been in the team since they're under sevens. They're under 15s now. So it's been a long time, and it's been lovely to get to know everyone in such a nice way. But a couple of weeks ago, I messaged the club. I told the club that after this season finishes, I'm going to step away from the football. And obviously I told the parents and the players and stuff. So I think we've got one more game to play. It's at the end of May. And although I'm in a sense looking forward to the game, it's also nice, really looking forward to having that time back. For quite a while now, I've been, I suppose, focusing on other things, and the Wednesday training pretty much since January or Christmas, I've not really carried that on, and then sort of the Saturdays have been going, most weekends if we get enough players. At the moment, it's been a little bit like that at the moment. I think since I've told everyone that I'm sort of stepping away, I don't know if the team's going to carry on. It doesn't look like that it will do, and it's going to be a bit of, again, another big change for me to sort of move away from the football and reclaim all of that time back, especially at the weekends. Because what I was doing, I was going from football on a Saturday from 9 till 10:30, and then I would go straight off to work for 11 o'clock. And it's, like I said, I've done it for a long time because I wanted to do it, obviously, and I enjoy it. But it's another element of my life that I feel I'm sort of moving on from, or want to move on from. And really looking forward to reclaiming that. So that's been really cool. And it's been one of them things that there's a few things towards the end of the video which I want to talk about, which relates a bit to the football, because some of the stuff that I do, and maybe football is one of them, and the Andy's Man Club is another thing I do, not for any financial gain. That's part of the issue, is that some of the stuff that I do, like in a voluntary basis, is no monetary reward for that. It's just a case of doing it because I want to do it, and it's part of, all these things that you do, they take up time. And so part of it has impacted, I suppose, on my my career in a sense, because the time that I'm spending out doing these other things like Andy's Man Club, doing the football, and maybe some other things too, they do impact on the time that you have to maybe focus on other stuff, your career. But yeah, so Andy's Man Club is another thing. I really love Andy's Man Club. I've been going to Andy's Man Club for about 3 years now. So I started going. I started going when I felt I needed to. It was a space that I could go when I didn't feel I had people around me that I could speak to in an open and honest way necessarily, or not that I couldn't feel like I couldn't. It wasn't that I felt I couldn't do that. It was more a case that I don't think everybody necessarily has the capacity to listen to what you want to say, and I felt a little bit like that. So it was very much a case for me that it was easier to speak to, a circle of strangers than it was to, to speak to sort of friends and family. So yeah, I've been going to Andy's Man Club, like I said, for 3 years. I started going to Southend at Roots Hall and was there for a number of months, and was asked to help facilitate the club, and that was a real honour to be asked to do that. Yeah, it's lovely to go, even when you don't necessarily need to. You just go because you're there to support other people, help them, through the door, and you're privileged, I suppose, to listen to people's stories on a weekly basis. So I really enjoy Andy's Man Club, and I'm not giving up Andy's Man Club. It's something I really value. I do that every Monday. I'm not at Southend anymore, so from Southend I was there for maybe a year and a half, something like that. Can't really remember now, but with a group of guys from the club at Southend. There was 5 of us, and we all went over to open the club at Hockley. And so, yeah, that's going really well. It's amazing. So that club, that's probably been running for 18 months now, something like that. And they're getting so many guys through the door now every Monday. It's a real success story. A lot of the guys that opened the club originally, they're still there and still go. But what is incredible is that recently a lot of the original guys that opened the club couldn't necessarily be there, and it was all new people that had gone to Hockley for the first time and had since from that time become facilitators and were able to run the club successfully and brilliantly without the original 5 there, which is amazing. So there's a bit of a legacy which has been created there, something that I'm really proud of. I'm sure the other guys are too. And yeah, that's something that continues. But I'm not at Hockley either, so I now facilitate at Shrewsbury High School, and that was a club which we opened last year November, just at the end of November. And it's a lot smaller club. There's only a few of us, a handful of us there. We've taken on one of the attendees as a new facilitator now. And so, yeah, we have a small team, and it's a smaller club. And again, it's something which is lovely to be part of, to grow. Again, no plans to move on from that at all. It's just lovely to be part of. But in terms of what I do or how I felt, it's almost like the football and the Andy's Man Club, a little bit separate in one respect. I suppose what I'm sort of seeing now is that they are slightly aligned in terms of trying to, show up and be there for groups of, of people, whether they're, young adults now, but, guys that perhaps need to talk on a Monday. So that's really cool. And then the other thing, again, it's sort of the reason why I'm speaking about these things and then all of the other stuff is because very recently I've had this thought and idea where all these things which seem quite sporadic to sort of go through, they've all, I found, actually come together. And I felt like it's almost been a bit of a training for me to have been involved in these different projects and on these different things. And then without any uncertainty, it's almost like the path while I was doing it was totally unclear. I wanted to do that. And even when I said just before that it perhaps impacted a bit on my ability to earn money in terms of career, because like I said, in terms of the time commitments around these things, partly for that is that I'm not overly, or haven't been overly passionate about the business that I run. So I have a bagel business, and I've been doing that for 15 years. And over that time, the business we've had many staff at one point, and to the point now where I literally just run the business on my own. I don't have any staff at all. Up until recently, that was. So before then, up until a month or two ago, it's now the first time in about 15 years that I've had no staff, which is lovely, because if it's quiet, it's quiet. I don't worry about it. And if it's busy, then I just manage, and it's okay. I've been doing it a long time, so I know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I've just haven't got the passion to try and grow the business. And I feel a little bit stuck there, because I work 6 days a week. I do Monday to Saturday, and without anything drastically changing, or any will to try and drastically change the business in any dramatic form, it's just going to stay the same. Just me there doing the orders as they come in, and there's no real growth, and I've got no feel to want to grow it any bigger or any more than what it currently is. So I have been looking, and I've had them sort of feelings for quite a long time, for years. It's just sometimes difficult when you're a bit stuck in what you do, and it's almost a bit of a comfort thing. It sort of pays the bills, and you sort of tick over. And then the issue becomes like, what do you move towards? And so from sort of the change that I went through last year, my circumstance, I was journaling, and I wrote a book, and I thought that, maybe, the book might be an answer to that, where I wrote the book. I'm really proud of that. It was like reflection and poetry, and sort of the story arc to it as well. So the whole process of that was like very cathartic for me, because, journaling in of itself is very therapeutic. You get to write down all the things, you get to move all the energy from inside out onto a page. And from initially starting to journal and write poems, and all this sort of stuff just came out on the page. It wasn't ever really planned, but it just sort of almost formed into a book. And then the whole creative process, not just the writing, but I took the creative process of actually designing the book and pulling it all together, designing the pages, and just everything. It took so much time. And when you're working on a creative project like that, a lot of the other stuff that you perhaps would otherwise think about, it just all falls away, to be honest, because when I moved out of the house, right? So if I was having a lot of time on my own, as an example, I could just go back to the book and work on it. And it was really, it was really powerful to do that. So yeah, really proud of that. And as I was working through the book and putting it together, and then creating the website and everything around it, part of my feeling is that maybe the book will become the thing that takes me out of, my working situation where I'm not passionate about it, and into something that I'm really passionate about. I really enjoyed the writing. I loved the whole creative process of the whole thing around that. And it's almost like following a path without really knowing where it's leading to or where it's going. It's sort of just that feeling of like, I know I should be doing this particular thing, but I haven't got a clue what the outcome is. So in a similar way with the football, I'd done it for a long time and was passionate about it, really enjoyed it. I think that time, sometimes there just becomes an end of a chapter for things that you enjoyed, and then you can put it down, and then you open up the space to move on to something different. So that time is now with the football, like I said. And then the same with Andy's Man Club. It's the same thing I'm passionate about. I love going, and I find it very beneficial. But pathwise, it feels like it's something I should be doing. But again, I suppose in society-wise terms, a lot of things are just valued upon, earnings, how much money you earn, career, and the other stuff gets a little bit secondary. It's looked on a bit differently, I suppose. So yeah, and especially as well because I've never been a massive earner from the bakery, although we were relatively. I was proud of it. We had a lot of staff. We used to take lots of money, but at the end of the month, once you pay all the bills and you pay all the staff and stuff, it wasn't. It was a struggle. Month after month, it was always a bit like that, and there was always an investment in repurchasing the stocks and things. So although you might have, had a very good day or a good week, you then have to rebuy everything. So there's always an issue like that I found. And of course, probably we made mistakes during that time too, where maybe I didn't charge enough for the food that we were selling and things. So, yeah. That's really been the path. So I just feel like I've been working to try and do things and better myself in a positive way. All these things are super positive, but not necessarily conducive to a comfortable life, I suppose, because you're sort of giving out in lots of different ways and then not necessarily getting back financially, what other people may get if you just focus on like that one thing, if you just focus on your career. And it's just not what I've done, I suppose. And then so from the book, again, I've been trying to be quite passionate about, and some of you might have seen because I started to do like karaoke stuff, and I've been going to do like open mics, and I try and go to them as much as I can. And a big part of that, again, it's sort of down to because I want to do stuff. I find it fun. I like all the people that I meet when I go, and because I feel like for a long time there was that suppression of not being able to speak in a certain way. And it's part of the reason why I'm doing this as well, because it's just practicing that ability to talk in an open and honest way, and that's it. So it's practice. Everything's practice, and to be able to go and speak or read a poem and behind a mic, not everybody has the confidence to do that or has the opportunity to do that. And yeah, I'm really grateful that these events are put on locally. There seems to be loads around Southend for whatever reason. There's just a really big poetry community, which is great to be part of now. And yeah, it's lovely. So again, it's like another thing that I try and do and get involved in without any true monetary gain at all. And when you do that over a long period of time and still, I suppose, financially and like I explained, I was sort of stuck in this 6 day a week working environment where, although I'm self-employed, it does just feel like I'm working for Just Eat, Deliveroo, Uber Eats. I go in, open up, and the machines go off, and then you get like however much time to complete the order before the driver comes, and you just got to get ready. And then if you don't get it ready on time, you get punished because the algorithm doesn't throw you in the top section of the app. It puts you lower down, so you become a bit quieter. So it's all a bit of a race to to get this stuff done, in a timely way when the orders come in. And yeah, it leaves me with that feeling of, not working for myself. Feels like that. Feels like I'm working for the apps. But yeah, so yeah, the poetry I really enjoy. And again, I'm going to carry on doing that. And the karaoke was another thing as well. That was something I really enjoyed. And again, we probably want to lean into that a little bit more. I was thinking about doing like singing lessons or something. Again, no real path, not really sure why, but just that feeling of trying to be just leaning into what you feel rather than what logically would make sense to do. And up until recently, so these sorts of experiences, and there are experiences when you go and do all these different things, you're learning. And it was very recently that I just had this idea, and it all brought the football and the stuff I do at Andy's Man Club and the book and the poetry and the karaoke. It all started to bring it all together into a clearer idea of what it all means, rather than being scattered and not really meaning anything. So most recently, I've I suppose, branded under the book. I've been running sort of the Lionheart sessions. So this is something which I wanted to do, a bit separate from Andy's Man Club, in the sense that men and women can come onto the Zoom call. It's a smaller group, so you're talking sort of 5 or 6 people. And the idea is just to have more open and honest conversation with like-minded people, and it becomes accessible because you can do it on your phone. And yeah, I just like the idea of creating that space where people can talk. And even now, even though I with all the the speaking I do, if it's the poetry, or in front of people at the poetry, or singing at a karaoke, or talking about the book in a room of people, whatever it is, I still find it difficult to speak openly with friends and family, because, like I said, it's a dualistic exchange, right? I can talk, but you do require the person that you're talking to be able to listen to what you're talking about, and often, yeah, I don't know, people also want to talk about their stuff too. So it's nice to be able to, and I get that, of course, but it was just nice to create a space where it's a little bit more intentional, where you don't have to, go into, the day-to-day stuff so much. It's just people are going on there with the intention to talk about what they really want to talk about, and just being, everyone's on the same page, I suppose, and not get trapped in sort of the surface level conversation that sometimes can happen. So that was the idea behind the sessions, and I'm going to continue running those on a weekly basis. It's free. If that's something that is of interest to you, then you can message me and I can share the details. Again, another thing that sort of giving time to that doesn't necessarily earn any money, but again, there was that pull to do that. Which is, again, just leaning into the stuff that I feel like I should be doing. And was another thing that became with this idea that I've had to be just part of the training. It's that links all the other stuff that I've been doing. So one of the new, which I'm really excited about, and again, it's partly for the reason of doing this like long form talking, is for so a few months ago now, don't know how long it's been, maybe a couple of months ago, maybe 3 months ago. So I'd done a boxing event, and I went to a gym which is in Southend. It's called Fighting Through 28. And what a pleasure that was to go to that gym. It was an 8-week training regime there. And I was like super consistent with it. I started for the first few weeks, I was going 3 times a week, and then done 4 times a week, and then 5. And at the end of the training camp, we done had a fight, which was really cool. No one got hurt. It was all fine, and I really enjoyed that. But a couple of the coaches at the gym, so inspirational, amazing story. And while I was there, I was just thinking, well, like, as an example, so at the start of all the sessions, because they do like group boxing sessions, like classes, And Jordan who would usually take the class, would always at the start welcome new people in to the gym. They called it a family there, and it truly is. They're so welcoming. It does truly feel a bit like a family. And yeah, so, and they would get like new people in all the time. Like every session you would have one or two new people. It was rare actually, like not to have someone new. They were, yeah, churning new people in. Amazing. It's incredible. So I really enjoyed that. And at the start of each session, Jordan would typically give a big welcome to the new people coming into the club. And then would also give a bit of an inspirational speech as to, you know, how long the club's been open for, and how it's been such a success week after week, how many people are coming through the door, and give a little bit of a bit of a story of his background as well. So it's like so interesting to have listened to, and again, privileged to have been there and be part of that camp. And I had the idea, like, it would be so interesting to just sit down with him, and Rich is the other coach too, and do like a long form conversation with them both to really listen to their story and to record that. So next week, now that is finished, and it finished a few months ago, and again, the idea, and it follows on from the sessions, and the idea came after the sessions. It was like, I'm going to start a podcast, which is so super cool. So it's going to be called Lionheart Conversations. And I booked Jordan and Rich as my first two guests. So next Sunday, I'm going to be going to film it at the actual gym itself. And coincidentally, I went there last week to ask them if they would like to do the podcast and how comfortable they would be to do that. And since leaving the gym, they've actually built a podcast studio in the back, which wasn't there when I was training there. So it was quite serendipitous to have gone, and they're like, yeah, we've got a studio already, which was amazing. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. So hopefully it's going to go really well. It's not something I've done before. I've been a guest on a podcast. I've done that, and that was fun, and probably learnt a bit from doing that, or having that experience. But yeah, I'm super interested to go and spend time and really allow that space for someone to speak about all of the stuff that they're comfortable speaking about, all the journey, all the stories. I find it fascinating. So I'm doing Jordan's podcast. It's going to be next Sunday. We're filming that. And then I've booked in Rich, which is going to be done on the following Sunday. And again, in the same way, super excited. Their personalities are very different, and it's going to be so interesting to find out more about them, not just the gym, but all of the stuff which has led them to that point. Which is really cool. It's just going to be really cool to do another experience. Again, I don't know what it will lead to. It's something that I want to do. Again, leading into it, no monetary benefit in doing that. Just that element of trying to be creative and following that feeling of doing stuff that I feel like I'm here to do. So yeah, that's going to be super cool to do. And then we're going to carry on with that. So the idea of the podcast will be ultimately to have like real conversations with real people. And just because I'm so interested in finding out about what has happened, if people want to tell their story. So if you're watching this and you feel like your story is worth telling and you've never told it, but you would love to, then yeah, the idea is I come to you. I haven't got a studio or anything, so I'm going to come to you, and we set up, and hopefully that'll make you feel more comfortable anyway. We'll set up in a room, hopefully quite a quiet space, and and yeah, sort of ease you into telling what it is you've want to tell. So yeah, really excited for that, and that'll be available. I'm gonna film it. Obviously, it'll go onto YouTube, and then I'll embed the links onto my website as well. So the videos will be on there too, and there's a podcast page on there, so you'll be able to find all the future podcasts on there. But yeah, that next one, or that first one next week, is going to be really exciting. So yeah, that's really cool. So that's one of the news things that I wanted to reveal, I suppose, in this long video. But the other thing was, and this was the idea, and I'm genuinely so excited about this, because like I explained when talking about the football and Andy's Man Club and the book, even the book, you're right. Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be financially beneficial, but it hasn't yet. I think that'll be a slow burner. It's a great book, by the way. But yeah, things like that just take time. And the open mics and the karaoke, even the boxing, doing the sessions, the podcast, and all of these things. I just had this realization that probably a couple of weeks ago, maybe a bit sooner than that, that it wasn't all in vain. It was training for what was to come. Because I've had an idea and I'm so excited about it. So I'm going to be pulling a lot of the experience of what I've been doing together, and I'm going to be, well, I've pretty much built it already. All the experience from the book has been I've been able to put it all together, but it's going to be a program that I'm going to be able to deliver into schools, which brings about, I think it'll be transformative change for the children that take part in this program. It'll be for secondary schools, and to build courage and confidence to speak, to express themselves in an environment that I don't think that they've been privy to before. Yeah, it's like super powerful. It's going to be run over 12 weeks. The first 6 weeks, it's almost like they're training, because for the subsequent 6 weeks, they're going to be facilitating the sessions themselves as like a peer-led group. And yeah, it's amazing. Honestly, the program is incredible. Really proud of it. It's called Finding Your Voice, as a schools program. So this is the first time I've really spoke about it properly. It's all very new. I've been very busy over the last week and a bit, like putting the whole program together. I've been designing workbooks. Yeah, it's incredible, right? It's super powerful. And I feel like this is the thing that I would be able to transition away from the bagelry, which is not what I'm here to do. And then I think that this, maybe amongst other things too, but this is the catalyst that would transition me from that to this. It would be incredible if I could make that happen. So yeah, and that feeling of everything that I've been doing, it wasn't in vain. And then to feel like I do, where I could potentially move into a role or move into a new path or business that I'm passionate about, like super passionate about and care about, and which is impactful and aligns with who I am and what I want to do. That's rare. Like, not everyone has that or gets to do that. You know, like I've been for the last 15 years stuck in a career that hasn't quite aligned with who I am. And then even just the thought that this could be something, again, like leaning into it like full force now. And what was incredible is that whereas before, like I explained, you're feeling like I'm on a path, and then everything's very unclear, everything is uncertain. I don't know why I'm doing the things. It's just because I want to do it, but there's no other real gain, and in a financial sense anyway. And then to feel like I do now, where the path that I can see is just so clear. I see it so clearly now, and that's been beautiful to be able to put something and work towards something and be certain. And I suppose in the sense I felt like that in the past before, where I'm certain. I feel like I'm certain about things, and things don't always work out how you want them to, or how you thought they would. But I suppose the message in that is it leads you to where you need to be, and just getting the experience of doing what it was that you were doing. It might not be for the reason that you thought, but it was for a reason. And yeah, so I suppose a big part of that is a bit of trust, and you have to let go of the control of outcomes, which I do try to do now. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. It won't take me long. I've pretty much finished. I've got just to finalise a couple of the books. I'm going to be getting those printed, and within the next few weeks, I sort of gave myself a target. So by the end of May, I want the program to be in a position where I'm able to deliver it as a pilot in maybe a school, and start creating a bit of interest around that. So in a similar way, when I'd done the book, even creating the workbooks, it was a very similar skill set. I've been able to put those together like really quickly, and yeah, there's a lot of similarity around that. So yeah, watch this space on that. It's going to be super cool. So I think that's pretty much what I wanted to say. If you've stayed on for the entire length of the video, I really appreciate that. I don't know how long I've been talking for, but the idea was to try and stay on and speak for as long as I could do, and give a decent update for where I'm at and what I'm doing, and perhaps why I'm doing it too. So yeah, so keep an eye out. I'm going to be releasing stuff around the Finding Your Voice program very, very soon. If that sounds like something that, if you're within a school and that sounds like something that you might be interested in finding out a bit more about, then please let me know. There's so much more to it that it'll be lovely to be able to just have a bit of a chat about it. And very, very soon I'll have all the workbooks and stuff which I'll be able to present as well. But I think it will be transformative for, like I said, all of the students in their maturity and their behaviour outside of the sessions too. Yeah, it's a very, very powerful program it will be. So, and once, again, another idea, once the children have gone through the 12 weeks, there'll be an idea I had is that they could then facilitate in like a mentoring system where they could then run the course for maybe younger children in younger years. So yeah, there's loads of scope. So let me know about that if that's something that you're perhaps interested in finding out about. Definitely keep an eye out for the podcasts that are coming. If you're interested in finding out about the guys and what they're doing at Fighting Through 28, then definitely give it a watch. Make sure you can comment or like it or share it. And if you would like to, have a conversation in a similar way too, then please let me know. The sessions that I'm running on a weekly basis, so I will. The first one was on Wednesday, and last week or this week was on a Thursday. So I'll probably do it. I'll put some information out on there again in the next day or so for the day that it'll be on this week. And if you're interested in that, you can just message me for that too. If you're interested in the book, then I've got my website, which is scottmuller144.com, and on there, I've got all when I do the poetry and different things. The book information is on there. The podcast will be on there. The podcast that I've done is on there, and there's loads on there. And I try and add to that as best I can. But like I said, where I've been for the last few weeks, I've been like immersed in this schools program thing, and so I've not updated it for a little bit of time, but definitely go and have a look on there. There's a lot of content on that, and and then if you feel like you want to come and say hi at an Andy's Man Club, it's Sunday today, so I'll be at the club tomorrow. That's from 7 till 9, and that'll be great to see any of the guys that feel like they want to come down and see the circle for themselves there. So thanks again for all your time. Really appreciate you, and enjoy the rest of your weekends, and take care.